NHL Regular Season Recap Night 16. The only game of the night is the Capitals visiting the New Jersey Devils. I had the pleasure of being at this game, so let's dive into it. Early on in the period, the Caps actually looked pretty good to start out, shooting the Devils pretty handily. About 6.5 minutes in, Anthony Mantha gets a pass from Alexei Protas. The two of them go in on a 2-on-1, and Mantha rips a shot 5-hole on Akira Schmid. The shot never left the ice. You kind of want to see a save from Schmid on this one if you're a Devils fan. Nonetheless, 1-0 Capitals about 6.5 minutes in. About 10 minutes later, still in the first period, a nice little play from Wilson, Ovechkin, and Dylan Strome on this one. Kind of a tic-tac-toe play in front of the net where Strome gets it just under the pad of Schmid. Another kind of 3-on-2 into 2-on-1 odd man rush. Not really much Schmid can do on this one. He kind of had his pad there, but his equipment kind of failed him on this one. Less than 2 minutes later, good work on the part of TJ Oshie and Evgeny Kuznetsov getting the puck broken out of their zone and through the neutral zone. Sends Sonny Milano up the left-hand wall where he beats Akira Schmid cleanly, top glove side, makes it 3-0 Caps, and that would be the way the period ends. And it would also be the end of Akira Schmid's night. He gives up 3 goals on just 8 shots, and the Caps outshoot the Devils 8-2 in the first period. So in the intermission, for those of you who know me, my fiance Lex is a huge Devils fan. She obviously was not happy after the first period of this one, and I tried telling her on multiple occasions, the Caps have not been very good. I would expect the Devils to come out flying and kind of take the game back over. I don't know, how far they go, but I expect them to at least get the first goal of the period. That being said, 4 minutes in, Tyler Toffoli finds himself wide open in the slot after a chaotic scramble in front. Buries it past Hunter Shepard, by the way, making his NHL debut in this one. It's now a 3-1 game still in favor of Washington. Less than a minute later, the Devils back with the puck in the Capital zone. They are absolutely buzzing, and the Caps are way back on their heels. And some good cycle play down low by Hughes and Toffoli. They find Timo Meier wide open backdoor for what was basically a putt-in. Nothing really to do for Hunter Shepard on this one. It's now 3-2 Washington, and the Caps are back to looking like their slow, old selves from the first few games of the season in the first couple minutes of the second period. Not to completely derail the flow of this video, but bringing up Hunter Shepard reminded me of something pretty cool. Because of where we were seated, we were actually just a few rows behind his family. Again, it was his NHL debut, so it was kind of cool to see his family there to witness this game again. He's kind of had to fight his way through the ranks, college, ECHL, AHL. I believe at 27 years old makes his NHL debut, so he's really had to do everything in his power to get here. So it's just a pretty cool moment. Just over a minute after the second Devils goal, they are once again in control of the puck in the Caps end, creating a lot of chances, a lot of chaos in front. By the way, we're only 6.5 minutes into the period at this point. Jesper Bratt throws the puck in front of the net. There's a mad scramble in front, 4 or 5 bodies there. The puck pops out to Hunter Shepard's right, his blocker side. Tom Wilson cannot clear it from the net front, and Nico Hischier buries it top glove side for a 3-3 game just under 7 minutes into the second period, and the Caps are in shambles. Now, at this point in the recording, I'm wishing I took notes because, again, at the end of the first period, the shots were 8-2 in favor of Washington. At this point in the game, just about 10 minutes into the period, the shots were like 12 or 13-10 in favor of the Devils. When I tell you guys they were buzzing, they were flying all over the place. The Caps' age and lack of speed was really, really showing this one. Again, Devils creating chances in the Cap zone, more chaos in the net front, and Tyler Toffoli once again finds himself open in front, buries this one from a feed from Jack Hughes. It's now 4-3 in favor of the Devils, just 10 minutes after they trailed 3-0 to end the first period. Now, by some miracle, the Caps held the line and left the score at 4-3 heading into the second intermission, but the Devils were dominant the entire second period. Again, Caps outshot the Devils 8-2 in the first. The Devils outshot Washington 14-7 in the second period. And again, we head to the third, trailing just by 1. In the intermission, I'm sitting there just seething. I mean, this team looked great in the first, and then it's like they just left the arena for the second period. Poor Hunter Shepard left completely out to dry. They looked slow. They looked disinterested. Kuznetsov ended up with a couple points in this one. I frankly thought he was not good. Seeing him in person is much different than watching him on TV. The stats are kind of there for him, but he just floats all over the ice. It seems like he's never trying to go full speed, and it's so frustrating to watch. So heading into the third, I'm just assuming the Devils are going to continue scoring. They're going to end up winning this one, 7-4, 8-5, whatever, some kind of ugly finish. But a few seconds into the third period, Dylan Strome gets his second of the game, a power play goal, this one assisted by Kuznetsov and Carlson, and somehow we find ourselves tied at 4 just under 30 seconds into the third period. After this goal, obviously no way for us to know exactly what happened in this, but as the Caps were skating back toward their bench, it looked like Ovi turned to Vitek and said something, and Vitek looked to say something back. Whether that was friendly banter or if there was some kind of chirping going on there, tough to say, but I'd love to see if we could get a report after the game of what exactly was said, or at least an idea of what was said as the Caps skated by Vitek after the tying goal in the third. Now, one of the themes of this game was that the goals seemed to always come in bunches. That being said, just under 2 minutes later, Anthony Mantha and Connor McMichael find themselves on an odd man rush coming into the Devils zone. Mantha makes a nice little saucer pass over to Connor McMichael. He moves from his forehand to his backhand and looks to shoot it right into Vitek Vanecek's glove, but somehow this puck dribbles through Vanecek. He is sitting pretty shallow in his net, but the Caps find themselves up 5-4 with 18 minutes to play in the third period. Just under 2 minutes later, once again, Sonny Milano finds himself scrambling in front of the net after a puck goes pretty rogue. He ends up getting a good stick on this one. Vitek tries to make a desperation save with the blocker, but it ends up going just inside the top left post crossbar corner, and it looks to be a 6-4 game, but again, this is where the effort of Kuznetsov just drives me nuts. Earlier in the rush, Kuznetsov was getting, kind of jostled around the blue line by Dawson Mercer. I feel like he could have easily gotten his foot down and back on the line, but just kind of a haphazard play by him. The play gets challenged. It's clearly offside, so this one does not count. And with 16.5-ish to go, it's still a 1-goal game, 5-4 in favor of the Caps, and it looks like we're going to have to hold on for dear life. Now, for the rest of the period, the Capitals actually did an okay job dampening the Devils' offense. There were a couple rushes where Jack Hughes looked like he was going to make something happen, a couple by Nico Hischier as well. But thankfully, none of them ever resulted in anything. As a Caps fan, it was a little bit more anxiety-ridden than it probably needed to be. But the Caps find themselves up a goal with just about 2 minutes left. Vitek Vanecek gets pulled for the extra skater, and Ovechkin finds himself with a wide-open path to the empty net after a turnover at his own blue line. He ices this one. It's a 6-4 final in favor of the Washington Capitals. Hunter Shepard with his first NHL win. He was all right in this one. I found he was kind of flopping around in his net a lot, but nonetheless did what was needed to get the job done. And that was it for NHL Regular Season Recap Night 16. It was a pretty roller coaster night for me as a Capitals fan, but we will see you guys tomorrow for Night 17. Thanks for watching as always.